Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. Star Citizen Alpha 4.2 is already in the PTU, and it looks glorious. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Cannot do this without you guys, so thank you so much for the support. It is truly appreciated. So, as many of you are aware, Star Citizen Alpha 4.2 released to the PTU for the Evocati a couple of days ago. Now, firstly, this is to be the June patch, the next major release, as it has been referred to by Cloud Imperium a couple of times now, and actually came along much quicker than I was expecting. Now, that's not to say that they won't be hotfixing 4.1.1, as they very much will be doing, but 4.2 is in the PTU now for the Evocati, and it is quite a god patch. It has so much in it, some huge updates that I think will blow many of us away. Now, with it being with the Evocati under NDA, I won't be able to share any footage of this, but I can talk about my experience, the experience of others, and what we have seen. And with 4.2, we have weather, the adult and apex Valakkar, and gameplay and events for them, some really cool looking new locations, a lot more missions, new outfits, radiation, and so much more. So let us firstly talk about weather. This is one of the most anticipated things for me that I've been excited for, God knows how long, ever since we heard about weather coming along. But we have actual rain, lightning storms, radiation storms as well. Finally, we have these full-on rain and lightning storms that just come and go with the clouds. They dissipate as you would expect. This is a simulation. It is not a faked time event like in many games. They look amazing. They sound amazing. There is apparently a lot of different sounds for weather as well, so it's not just going to be the one type that you see in games, I suppose, like DayZ, where it's the same sort of rain sound over and over again. There is a lot of variation to it. But it also includes visual effects on the ship canopy and helmet visor, as you would expect. They do look very nice with rain dropping and hitting the visor and then streaming down. Now, your ship can also be struck by lightning, which gives a little bit of distortion damage. It can also kill your ship's systems for a duration of time, so you've got to take that into consideration. We'll speak a little bit more about this, but weather is one of those factors that will give reason for players to approach on foot or in a ground vehicle versus in your ship. I also suspect that when engineering does come along properly, it'll lead to a lot more various impacts in your ship systems, having to put out fires or malfunctioning components due to being struck by lightning, which again will give a genuine reason to not fly to a location and land and approach in a safer manner. Now, also, as mentioned, there are these radiation storms. Now, these look to be so far on Pyro 1, and they are there permanently in certain locations. It's not the whole of the planet. There are certain areas of Pyro 1 where these radiation storms are just permanent. It also looks to be a location to find the Valakkar, or a irradiated Valakkar, where they've been impacted by these storms. So again, not all Valakkar will be irradiated. The whole planet isn't irradiated. It is just certain areas, which alongside these new locations, these storms, the Valakkar creatures, it really gives this sort of Dead Space, Resident Evil, Alien vibes. Even that mission in Starfield where you got to take on the Terramorph, it kind of feels like that. This location, combined with the Valakkar, the storms, is a recipe for a lot of enjoyment. And as mentioned, Cloud Imperium have stated that weather will be one of the main factors to having to land and approach on foot, so I really hope that this mission in these irradiated places specifically could require a player to land, or players to land on the outside of the facility due to the storm knocking out your systems or just being too dangerous to fly in, and then having to make your way in together in a ground vehicle or on foot, which in turn should start alerting the Valakkar to your presence. Man, I can't wait to see how this goes. Now, weather in itself anyway, outside of these radiation storms, will have a huge impact on just the atmosphere of the game. I don't know exactly which planets have rain, have storms, have this weather band coming in, aside from Pyro 1 and Pyro 3, maybe Pyro 4. Hopefully all of them that need it will have it, but I don't know if they're rolling them out incrementally, with 4.2 being the first rollout of weather. Anyway, speaking of animals, as mentioned, there are a new radiation state for players, for creatures and items, As you can imagine, players will be required to wear some form of protection, otherwise you'll get radiation sickness. The Valakkar Adult and Apex, as mentioned, appear to be in, which I assume are what the redacted features are referring to, plus the gameplay to hunt these, as we saw at CitizenCon the other year. There also appears to be some flight model updates. There may even be some more irradiated creatures, as there are now irradiated commodities that can be bought, traded, required, and so forth. A lot of new missions, some Bit Zero stuff as well, which are the hackers, and a little bit of ship engineering updates as well. However, it was pointed out to me, I still haven't watched the full Con 42 stream, but it might be that engineering is not rolling out for 4.2, but coming a little later. But we should still see a tech preview channel open up to test it pretty soonish, I would think. So a lot of very cool updates already in this, in the first 2 Evocati patches. I suspect there will be many more features, many more quality of life updates, many more bug fixes, and a lot more content yet to come. And hopefully the roadmap release viewer can actually highlight this stuff. But let us quickly take a look at the 2 patch notes. As I say, there's been 2 patches for the Evocati since 4.2 hit the PTU, with the testing focus being stability and bug fixing, plus a new activity which I won't delve into too much, as I don't know much about it, plus I don't want to spoil anything, but it takes place at a location called Faro Data Center, and these are the new facilities found on Pyro 1 and Pyro 4, and looks to have something to do with the Valakkar, some scientific research going on with them, and as I say, very much Dead Space, alien vibes. Now, the features in this build that are not ready for feedback include improved kiosk interactions, which I have not yet checked out myself, plus the research facilities themselves, and 3 other redacted features. Now again, I suspect these redacted features will be referring to the Valakkar, these locations, and maybe other events, but until they reveal it, we don't know. Now, so far, for the new features and gameplay in this build, it briefly runs through what this new activity will involve, and as I say, without saying too much, this will utilize the new door scanners that require certain clothing types to gain access. Now, there are 2 new outfits coming so far with 4.2, one that looks to be this radiation suit, and the other is a lab coat. So I suspect the lab coat will certainly be a part of this gaining access via the scanner, requiring you to take one from an NPC and wear it so that you can get through, as it does say that the loadout scanners require a live or an alive actor to pass the unlock requirements. So again, you'll have to be wearing it and walking up to it. Now, they've also increased the number of copians inside acidic caves, and for ships and vehicles, they have greatly increased the Idris capacitor ammo and turret rotation speeds, while adding rotation acceleration and deacceleration times. They've greatly increased the hangar door and ramp health on the Idris, Polaris, and 890 jump. The Starlancer TAC has updated hydrogen tanks to 48 SEU and quantum fuel tanks to 3.35 SEU. The Starlancer series as a whole have had their ramp and drop door light ranges reduced, and the Gladiator has been updated to allow for missile swapping. So quite a lot of balancing going on there for ships and vehicles, plus a little quality of life too. Now, for potential bug fixes, there are 25 in total between both builds. For the non-4.2 specific fixes, the containers loaded onto cargo grids should no longer be offset, so that is a great fix for a lot of people having many issues with cargo. PvP bounty missions appearing multiple times should be resolved. The new Babbage and Orison Hab doors not opening should now open. Nav mode can no longer be unlocked in snub vehicles, as they don't have a quantum drive, so that makes sense. Weapons and equipment aligning sideways after respawning and relogging should be fixed. Glad to see that one as it is. It's not a big deal, as once you get into outside of an armistice zone, you can just draw your weapon and put it back and it resets it, but it looks silly. The Cyclone's suspension should now no longer be higher than intended, popping up, and a few fixes for ships like the Idris, the Hornet Mark II variants, the Prowler, the Argo MPUV, and a lot of other fixes too. There are also 15 known issues in this latest build. Not going to run through them here, you can check them out if you want to follow the links below, but I suspect they'll be cracking on through them as quickly as possible. So those are the latest PTU 4.2 builds. I am sure we will see many more patches roll out between now and 4.2's release, which will be at the end of the year, and I am so excited to see what else will come along, but damn, that weather is one of those features that I have been excited for a very long time. So I am over the moon to see them start rolling out with weather now. As always, I will try to keep you all informed as to the progress with the PTU and 4.2, but right now I'm going to get on with recording my first episodes of the Off-Grid Zero to Hero series in Pyro. There will be no stream today as I've got family visiting, so the next stream will be on Friday. You're all more than welcome, the link is below, or you can watch me here on YouTube. But with that said, if you would like to convert your phone or tablet to your ship's dashboard, GameGlass is offering 15% off any lifetime pass or 10% off a monthly or annual pass, plus you can use it for free with the option of up to 3 shards, like this Aegis one, and any purchase made using my links does directly support my channel, so thank you so much in advance if you choose to do so, and to all of you who have done so already. If you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind, it does the channel a big favour, and tick that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when my videos go live. Again, a huge thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.